Hello, everyone. Uh, so, I'm back with another co author of the book Caterpillar to Butterfly 14 Wings, 14 Ways to Give Wings to Your Mindset. And this book is is a is a boiling pot of 14 coaches from all around the world who are experts in their own field, and they have they've dived into their field and brought out this single chapter for you from each of them. So we have 14 chapters from 14 co-authors. You have by now seen a couple of these interviews with these co-authors, and today we have with us Mr. Rajeev Chachra, and he is a dating coach with us, and he is from USA. Hello, Rajiv. How are
Hi.
you?
Thank you, Sapna. Glad to be here. And hello, everyone.
Hello, from everyone to you too. So, Rajiv, you are a part of this anthology, this beautiful book, which is going to launch at the end of this month, which is from 28th to 30th of April. Primarily on 30th, we'll have it launched. So, did you ever think you would ever be an author? Was it in your mind or it just happened?
Like we all have some fantasies that we hope someday will come true. So ever since growing up, there were two things in my mind, like fantasies. One was that I would be a great cricket player, but, that was squashed by going and playing because the reality just hit you right there and then. The other thing that kind of I had an aim was to be a writer. And
Oh,
it's basically all the school literature books and everything that we had. I kind of used to really like that. Like I would admire these authors. I didn't have a flair for it much. I didn't start writing till I reached college, but I was very very intrigued by those who could write, and had this latent need desire in me that someday I would give it a shot.
wow. So you did want to become a writer. And have you been writing? You just said in college you wrote. What have you been writing in college?
So I wrote a few poems in college, and
Mm.
I actually think they are pretty decent. But those were the days when we didn't have anything digital, right? So when I was moving from one hostel to the other, and then moving back, and with moving houses and other things, I lost most of them. And
Oh,
and then I did write some with, and I thought those were pretty decent ones. And the good thing is, it reflects what you're thinking at that point in time. It's
yeah.
coming of age kind of things, realizations in life. So I actually think they were pretty nice, but they're all gone. I have a few left here that I wrote in the US. I moved here in 2000, and the ones I wrote after that, just a handful. I have those.
Mm.
A couple got published also, but
Oh, okay.
nothing more. I'm in some local magazine here, and then I did write a short story also for
Okay.
the National Public Radio. They had a competition, so I took part in it, and those are the things I want to do more of. In my later years.
I had no clue that you were already published in some which way. Would love
Yeah, I was
to,
local,
you know.
very local, and I don't have copies. These are like our counties and all have some small magazines, and you can give something there, but it's
Mm.
all lost.
Mm. I think now you would not lose out any of these, creativity streaks you've had. Yeah, I hope you will not lose them and eventually get it published. Now that this publishing thing, make being a part of a book actually pulls out a lot of blocks in the mind also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, being part of TLC and being part of Polaris Group, and having gone through this experience of writing this book, I have another unfinished book that that's been sort of lying in my shelf that I've not given any attention to. It's gathering dust. That's book about I'm a single guy, so these are my chats with other people, and it's like a PowerPoint presentation. I have a snippet of the chat, and I have a subject, which is like sometimes humorous, sometimes sentimental, but I think it brings about a lot of emotions that we go through. So I hope it's funny and nice. I have to complete that. So I'm thinking that I'll include the poems that I still have with me in that publication. And this is going to be a stepping stone for me. So I'm glad that we authors could get together. And you, Sapna, you inspired me. You got me into this group. And the fact that you wrote a book earlier, it just gives one a sense of perspective and confidence that, hey, my friend is doing it, let me also give it a shot.
Indeed, indeed. And it is very doable. I remember when I first spoke to you about, getting you into my professional circle, going beyond the friends that we've been for years. Uh,
Yes.
uh, when I heard about this unfinished book of yours, that is when I thought, no, this is the right place for Rajiv. He cannot be a lone runner on this path. You do need people along. You do need people who have done it and who are, working towards the same goal. And that motivation is so important to just move forward. And
Yes. Thank
I
you. Thank you.
really, from that day itself, I have been looking forward to this book of yours. And I hope it will see the light of sun and would be in my hands sometime, someday. And it should be an
Definitely.
interesting read, because it would be so
Eh,
authentic.
Yes. Thank you. It'll be my pleasure.
Mm.
The title of the book is "I've been longing to adore you," and
Oh,
I think
oh, this is so sweet. I'm longing to
thank you.
adore you. Like, the girls will
Yeah.
go weak in the knees. Either ways, only with the title.
Yes, that's the aim. Thank you.
Yeah. So, coming back to the anthology, what is the name of your chapter?
So, my chapter, this whole book is about the mind, but my chapter is about the mind's blind spots, the
Uh,
biases we carry. And
uh-huh.
I think it's a very vital part of, how we rationalize things. And that's why I wrote on it.
Beautiful. Biases. I'm yet to read something on biases. How did you think of this space, this writing about the blind spot? What
So,
inspired you?
yeah, every time, I take an action in my life or come to a conclusion, I then have a retrospect on it, down the line, just to see whether, my judgment and my assessment was correct or not. And many a times I've realized that, I have been following something logically. So there's not much wrong with my logic per se, but
Mm,
what I have ignored is certain cues or data points that were right there but fell on my blind spot. Just like when we are driving our car and we want to change lanes,
mm,
we do realize that uh, for now, of course, the technology is such that the car highlights when there is a car in your blind spot, right? The idea being a huge object like a car can right be there on your side, and you would fail to see it because
yeah.
it's not in your vision. And similar thing happens to us when we are thinking through life and making decisions. And so this retrospect that I would do will ultimately started showing me where the sort of the lacking or the lacuna was. And I realized that we are all susceptible to these blind spots. And so I researched a little bit on it. And there are various interesting aspects about it. Should I elaborate a bit?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you can, in a nutshell, what kind of
Yeah, so
research
so
you have done. So we are talking about your journey into the, as you wrote this chapter. Yeah, it would be interesting to
yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is that right from the time of the Greeks, 2000 years back, there were people who were studying all this. So it's not like a very modern phenomenon, which goes to prove that its importance, I would say. So many a times what happens is, like a very basic one that we are all susceptible to is the confirmation bias. So like, if you are a liberal person and you go to liberal websites, you know the chances are, like in Facebook or something, they'll start showing you same content. Well, if you're conservative, the same thing will happen. And so the more you read about the same subject, the stronger your views become. And so this is basically something called confirmation bias, because you already have a thought and then you're looking for proof to reinforce that thought process or logic. And so you're ignoring the other side, right? And the more you ignore the other side and you still keep getting data points on what you believe, you will tend to become more and more in line with that one philosophy. So, one would think that all biases, the way I've just explained to you, like confirmation bias, is probably contrary to benefit for us, right? Like, because if I just see my point of view and you see your point of view, then we're bound to fight. And that's how, nations and other things get into trouble. But the reality is, actually, biases give us an evolutionary edge. What would happen, just imagine when we were cavemen, right? Uh, we were all fighting for resources, and we, had to have safety between our tribe and the other tribe, you
Mm.
know. So there was a bias that we developed of basically trusting people who look like us. So if people from outside the country or somehow landed in a ship in our land, our first instinct would not be to trust them, and that is right, because we need to protect our land, our livestock and whatnot, and they
Yeah.
want the same resources. So biases actually have an evolutionary advantage, because you don't have time sometimes to analyze everything. There was a natural instinct not to trust the other tribe, right? Because they're also competing for the same resources. And the whole idea there is, you don't have time to evaluate every aspect. You don't have time to know whether they are your friends or not. They might be there to conquer your land, and so you have to act quickly to protect yourself, maybe kill them, whatever it is. And
Mm.
so our biases would be a way to fill the gaps in the knowledge or data points that we have. But it is an evolutionary thing. So we have been gathering that through the generations, right? And
Mm.
that's why we develop certain biases. So bias is basically just like a tool. You can use it to your advantage. You can use it to your detriment. But
Yeah.
the beauty, so that's the beauty of it, where I think the mind has to sort of be aware. The only way not to fall into the trap is to sort of be aware of it. Then you can try to see your blind spots, and you can also know when it might be to your advantage. And many a times, just taking stock of the situation or being aware is itself a very good way of not falling into the trap.
Wow. I
That's
think
sort of the
this.
bottom line punch.
Yeah, I think this chapter is going to be very, very interesting for all of us to read. And I'm sure people who are listening to us have realized that biases is something which one needs to be aware of, just like you just said. And you are become aware of it, and we shall be aware of it the moment we get the book in our hand.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
yeah, Rajiv, so how was it, working with so many people? It's not a single person writing.
Yeah, so just as our minds have many facets to I think the having a cohort of so many authors trying to write a book and yet have a one sort of a theme or
Goal?
objective
Huh.
goal. The interesting part is, I think the diversity in the book actually reveals something about the mind too. So it's like an analogy to what we're trying to address.
Hmm.
And I think different writing styles, different subject matters, and people's interests probably make the book very interesting.
Yeah.
Rather than one person trying to tackle all these various topics, we have different people who are writing from their own perspectives. So sometimes the reader might feel that, hey, the writing styles vary between chapter and chapter, but I would think that that variety would actually make it more interesting read, and probably give them, a little different flavor than a usual book that they pick up. So I'm
Also,
hoping that people
yeah,
will
also
enjoy.
people will have the luxury to just pick up one chapter and pick up any chapter and start reading. You don't have to
Yeah,
start from the beginning and go till the end. You can just start anywhere and stop anywhere you want. So
yes,
uh, and with the different flavors, I'm sure it's going to hold interest throughout for everyone. And of course,
yep,
it's because they are tackled by all experts in their own field from various experiences, backgrounds, and biases. So we are going to have a whole lot of everything in that little book there in our hands. So
Yes,
looking
I believe so.
forward, yeah, so looking forward to the launch and actually reading. Have you read all the chapters
Yes,
that people
yes,
have
I
written?
have. I
You
have.
have? Okay,
Yes,
yes. I
I have.
haven't
Yeah,
actually. So I do
yeah.
know
It's
mine,
very interesting.
you know.
Yeah, I don't know who has written what, but I've read all the chapters.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting read. I do see different styles and all, and that's why I was commenting on that. I think it will be
Hmm.
a good read.
Yeah. For me, I've read a few chapters. I've helped people edit their chapters. So those are the chapters I've read, but there are
Yeah.
still quite a bit which I still need to go through. And it's going to be a lot of fun just doing that. So, Rajiv,
Yes.
the launch is in Pondicherry 28, 29, and 30th. So I believe our book will be launched on 30th. Do you have any plans for the launch?
I wish I could make it, but I do have a full-time job as a software developer in the US, and I was really trying to make it for it, but couldn't manage my leave. I'm gonna miss you guys. I'll miss all the celebrations and all the
Yeah,
pomp and the celebrations that go with it. And it would have been
absolutely.
my one chance to get my few minutes of fame standing on the stage.
Mm.
You know, but
That's
but
priceless.
uh, I know, I know, and sharing pictures with all of you. But maybe some other time. Yeah, so I'm gonna miss it.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to miss you too. I know it's difficult for you
Thank you,
to
thank you,
make it, but I was looking forward to seeing you and, you know, share the moment with everyone and as well as you. So next time we'll
now,
write more. We're still part of the Jing Bang that we have, and the Jing Bang has tasted blood. So I guess we'll do more of it.
yes, 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 and I think it's a fun collaborative effort, and
Yeah.
we kind of spur each other on, and that's the best part. So
Absolutely. And I want to spur you into finishing your book, which you not completed.
thank
You
you,
started but not finished. Yeah. So thank you, Raji, for taking out time from your busy schedule, and also we need to match time between India and US and all that jazz. Trying to just get it together. But thank you so much for making it, and it was wonderful, wonderful talking to you. For our viewers,
thank you.
watch out for more episodes on Insights, the series Insights, wherein I talk with all the authors, the co authors of the book Caterpillar to Butterfly, and know what is in there. It's a teaser for you, and I hope that you are enjoying this series. Mm, I would seriously would want you to grab your copy on the launch day because that's going to be the cheapest price ever for the book. So look forward to getting a copy for yourself and also grab some extra copies so that you can give to others. You're going to, change lives for others. So don't miss this chance. And for Rajiv, my utmost gratitude. Thank you. And I loved
Th-
having you here.
yes, thank you, Sapna. It was my pleasure, and I really appreciate what you're doing. In terms of interviewing all of us and letting the readers know what the book is about. To the readers, I will just say one thing. Please, you guys are caterpillars right now. Please devour this book, read it, page to page and every way, and become butterflies. And hope to see you guys making the world more beautiful,
Yes.
with extra knowledge and extra motivation. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye
Yes.
bye. Good luck to all
Bye
of
bye.
us and everyone.